So, just a quick check, am I audible to all, so that we can start with the session. It is a planning session for IFoA September 2026 and II October November 2026 exams. So, just a quick check, am I audible to all, so that we can start. Quickly comment in the chat section, am I audible to all. Guys, I expect you to be as much interactive as you can. We are going to discuss communication exam, so it is important to understand what examiner wants from you, and for that we really have to engage in basically interaction. Without interaction you won't be able to understand what this subject is all about. So, a quick check, am I audible, so that I am good to start. We are running short of time. Quickly comment in the chat section, am I audible to all. I suppose I am audible. So, let us start with the session. Now, if I talk about the exam dates, so basically for IFoA the exam is scheduled for 24th September, and for II the exam is scheduled for 4th November. So, you have to plan like this, that whether you are planning from IFoA or from II. Now, if you are planning from IFoA, so currently if you are standing, say we are almost in the mid of July, so we are left with say 2 weeks of July, and then we have entire August available with us, and then we have, because it is scheduled for 24th September, so almost 3 to 4 weeks of September are also available. So, roughly we have 9 weeks in short to plan our exam, and this is manageable in the given time frame. But how we need to plan, that is what the exam we are going to discuss through our sessions. So, roughly 9 weeks are there till 24th September, and you can add on 1 more month to it for II exams. Now, let us understand what examiner wants from us and how we have to go with this exam. Now, first thing to understand is, it is not a theory paper. Students feel it is a theory paper. You have to understand, it is not a theory paper, it is a communication paper. Examiner wants to see whether you can explain or not, and that is why they test you on communication task as well, plus you get reflective questions. There is one important concept in this paper, that is, you have to explain actuarial concepts to non-technical audience. Now, many of you just feel that if you are going through co-reading, or if you are going through past papers, that will help me to understand what this subject is all about, that will help me to clear exam at one go. So, I can make you clear, this exam is not an exam that if you are going through book, or if you are doing say 5-7 past papers, you will get an idea. You need the correct guidance with respect to how to approach the exam. If you know the correct tips and tricks, if you know the correct approach to examining, you will be able to pass in first attempt only. But if you fail to understand examiner requirements, this is one such exam where students struggle with fellowship as well. Now, if I talk about how it is tested for IFoA students, basically you will be provided with advanced material 3 days before exam. Now, you have to use this advanced material basically to understand CP3. You do not have to use this advanced material to project what the question will be. It will help you to prepare your thinking. It is not to write in advance. Remember this. Advanced material is not to write in advance. It is just for you to understand that how you have to prepare your thinking. And whenever advanced material is provided, many students ask me this question, what do we have to do with advanced material? I only guide, first thing is definitely read it multiple times. Even if you are provided 3 days before, read it multiple times. And when you are being provided advanced material, try to understand who your audience will be, to whom this material is presented, whom to actual paper will be presented, because identifying audience is very important. Try to understand objectives of different stakeholders in your advanced material. You have to understand technical concepts basically that will require a simplification in main exam. So, understand technical concepts that will require simplification in main exam, and to add on this, try to understand different visuals that can be used. You have to wipe out irrelevant information, you have to understand which information is completely irrelevant in this case, which can be wiped out. So, that is the use of advanced material. Just go through it multiple times to understand the audience, to understand the objectives, to understand the technical concepts that require simplification, to understand which visuals can be used. Now, how to approach CP3? You have to understand the structure, you have to understand marking, and most important is to understand what examiner wants. So, understand what examiner expects. Now, how can we understand what examiner expects? सबसे पहले for this we need to identify good communication techniques. बिना इसके you will not be able to perform paper. You need to learn from different examiner reports. Always try to understand how you can rewrite technical concepts for non-actuaries. So, as we said, you will be provided with a communication task, and at the end there will be some reflective questions. So, reflective questions will be based on this communication task only. So, you can only perform these reflective questions if you have done that 80 marks question correct. Now, in order to do this 80 marks, what I suggested is you need to understand what examiner wants. For that, you have to understand good communication techniques, you have to learn from different examiner reports, you have to rewrite technical concepts, and let's understand different tips basically. Always use short paras. We will understand different mistakes. As of now, let's discuss what should be done. You have to use short paras. You have to use as many headings as possible. Try to use bullet points. Conclusion need to be there in your solution that you have submitted. Avoid jargons, no jargons at all. Keep sentences as short as possible. These are to-dos that are must. So, you have to keep your sentences short. Plus, you have to answer everything that reader needs. Now, how can I answer everything that reader needs? For this, what we have to do is, we have to go through the question paper, we have to identify audience, you have to understand that you are writing this for a non-technical audience, you are not writing this for an actuary. Now, why am I saying this, or why am I focusing on this is because generally if I talk about all other actuarial exams, they are based on this thing that you have to be extremely specific, there is no scope of general, try to use book language, try to use standardized language, try to use technical language, because your paper will be reviewed by an actuary. But here, although the paper is getting reviewed by an actuary, but actuary is not testing you on the skills which are required to make understand, and actually basically they want you to test you on this particular thing, that how you can communicate to a non-technical audience who is not aware of actuarial concepts. So, when you are going through the question paper or when you are presenting a solution, you have to answer this thing basically, am I able to understand if I am not from an actuarial background? If you can understand that thing being non from an actuarial background, that means that particular answer is your perfect answer. This is the mistake that every students do. They try to write long sentences, long paras without headings. They try to just convert paragraphs. What they do is they take one paragraph from question paper, they feel that okay, we can convert this into our own language. That is what they are not testing you on. They are testing you on how you can present this to a non-technical person assuming no knowledge of actuarial, at the same time maintaining professionalism, maintaining simplicity, clarity in your answer. Now, if I discuss about common mistakes where most of the students make basically lose marks is they write like actuarial reports. It is not a report, no actuarial keywords to be used. They do not explain actuarial terms, even if a particular term is inevitable to use, that should be explained. So, no explanation of technical terms. Another common mistake, you do not understand what your audience is. So, forgetting audience, no clear conclusion, another common mistake, long paras, dense paras. So, this is something that you have to definitely avoid. एक ही क्वेश्चन अपने आप को पूरे पेपर में पूछना, did I write this for reader? Who is reading this paper? What do they know? What do they need to know? And what decisions they make? Simple English always scores high. Avoid jargon, avoid long definitions, avoid unnecessary actuarial language. You have to focus basically on one thing, that is interpretation. And if I talk about logical structure of an exam, so how is your logical structure designed? Basically, you can start with intro, then you can mention purpose, then whatever the main findings or the things that they have asked you to test, any implications of those findings, finally any conclusion or recommendation. You have to prioritize important information. Now, how can I make sure that I am writing important information? वो एकदम से नहीं पता चलेगा that you are supposed to write important information, that you cannot judge in just one particular thing. Basically, you have to read the paper multiple times to understand that one thing, how to prioritize important information. For doing this, you can leave out irrelevant information. Also, when you are reading multiple times, that will give you an idea of key issues. Focus on key issues. Focus on the things which need to be omitted. How you can focus, basically whenever we are doing this, we have to make sure that my document is concise. I have to use clear headings, I have to make use of bullet points, I have to make charts and visuals as much as possible. As I said in the start as well, always ask this, can I understand this without actuarial knowledge? Is this well organized? Is the message clear? Is the tone appropriate? So, tone is another important thing to focus upon. So, students actually fail because they communicate as if they are communicating to an actuary. And whenever a question is presented, maybe you are asked to present it like a report, maybe it can take a form of memo, or it can take a form of reply to a mail, or reply to a particular letter, or it can be presentation. In either of these forms, basically you can be tested. Whatever the form is, the structure will remain same, the common to do things will remain same, areas to avoid will remain same. And if I talk about tone, you have to keep your tone formal, you have to keep it professional at the same time, Plus you have to be very polite, your tone has to be polite, you have to focus on specific audience. And एक चीज़ और जो बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, don't be robotic at all. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं इसका आपको एक लाइव एग्जाम्पल देती हूँ. मान लो मैं आपके सामने एक स्टेटमेंट प्रेजेंट करती हूँ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई से mortality assumptions have deteriorated resulting in increase in reserves. Now how this should be actually presented? There are different ways that this should be presented in your main exam. The question, I've given you a statement, mortality assumptions have deteriorated resulting in increase in reserves. 2 minutes time, I cannot write this statement because this might not be understood by a layman. So how will you present the statement? 2 minutes time. Think. Guys, quickly, the statement that you want to present is basically mortality assumptions have deteriorated resulting in increase in reserves. Obviously, we cannot write it as it is. So, how will I write it? One way of writing, I am giving you an example, there can be different ways of writing. Let us discuss one way of writing. Maybe if I would be in your situation, I would write it like this. People are expected to live longer than previously estimated. So, the company now needs to keep aside more money to meet future commitments. So, see my way of writing. Mortality assumptions have deteriorated. This is not clear to a layman. So, I have changed it to people are expected to live longer than whatever we have estimated, resulting in increase in reserves. Reserve means the money that you set aside to meet future commitments. So, the company needs to set aside more money to meet future commitments. This is how your answer needs to be presented. This is just a small example. This is what examiner wants from you in your main exam, and this is where most of the students lose because they are not able to understand. What you do is you just try to present it in the same manner by doing here and there. That is not acceptable. Now, if I discuss basically what's the plan ahead that we have to understand. Now, we have discussed in very quickly in the initial 20 minutes basically we have discussed what this exam is all about. So, we discussed that if you are giving it from IFoA, So you will be provided with scenario material 3 days before the exam, and but you don't have to rely on this material. This is just for you to plan, this is just for you to understand the audience, and from the main paper given, read it multiple times, try to understand the audience, try to understand the main focus issues, try to find out the main findings, try to understand their implications, and your answer should focus on introduction, then the corresponding findings, then their implications, and finally our conclusion. You could be asked an email or a letter or a memo. These are the different formats of your question paper. Now if I talk about II, basically as such there is no scenario material to be presented. You will be given a question paper, and plus there is some basically background material to refer to. So this is similar to scenario material, but this is not provided early, first thing, plus this background material is definitely less compared to the material that you get in scenario material. So background material is just for you to understand that all this background material is information is already there with the audience. Now from my question paper, what extra I can refer to or how extra I can present, so that using this background material, whatever I am presenting, they are able to understand what we are trying to convey. So 80 marks is for this thing, remaining 20 marks is for the questions based on this 80 marks, that how you have identified technical keywords, which all keywords you have avoided, how you have made sure that you have not used jargons, how you have made sure that you have presented your paper more say the presentables by using charts and everything. So that is only possible once you have understood the first part. If first part is not clear, you will lose on the reflective questions. So we have to understand examiner requirements, and as such there is no major difference with respect to IFoA and IAI pattern except this scenario material thing. So maybe even if you are preparing from IAI and you want to practice questions, you can refer to IFoA content as well. How you have to practice, just take it the scenario material as the background material provided on the spot only. Now how we are going to proceed is, let's first discuss about that. So as we planned 8 to 9 weeks for IFoA, 8 to 9 weeks plus 1 extra month for II. Now every weekend from now onwards till your exam, we will be meeting and we will be discussing multiple things. Now first thing is that every Monday you will be receiving, from now on till your exam, you will be receiving targets from our side with respect to how you have to proceed. Now obviously if you have enrolled, so you have access to multiple lectures on your portal. So we will be guiding you which all videos you need to watch. You don't have to watch any video on your own. If you have watched till date, it's completely fine. Agar nahi bhi dekhe hai, so from now on you will be getting targets with respect to which all videos you need to watch. Plus I will tell you the past papers also that you have to do. Now don't ask me this question ki whether this is valid for II or it is valid from IFoA. As I said, it's the same. Only the scenario material difference is, यहाँ पे the point to understand is how to present it into a language which is useful for my readers, not to make it different with respect to different society. So my focus is on training you with respect to the format required, with respect to the language required. So I can give you past paper of II as well, I can give you past paper of IFoA as well. You need to make sure that you are doing all the past papers which are there as per the targets. Now the focus in initial weeks would be, I will ask you to do the past paper by looking at solution only, because in the initial week my focus is to make you understand what examiner wants. So this is completely different approach that I follow in the first 2 weeks. I will ask you to go through a particular paper and at the same time go through its solution as well, just to see how the paper is presented and at the same time just to see how the solution is there. For example, the target could be that you have to do 2024 and 2025 India papers for this week and looking at the solutions. Then when we are meeting on the weekend, we will be discussing some questions related to the past papers that I have already asked you to go through. So, for example, I might discuss a particular question from say 2024 paper. I might discuss that how we presented this visual presentation in 2025 paper. I might discuss how we did these reflective questions in 2024 paper. So, every discussion would be based on the targets that I am providing to you. As we move on with the course, I will ask you to attempt papers individually, that is without looking at the solutions. I will ask you to focus on writing complete answer, and in that I will guide you, okay. For example, this is one question that you need to do, and in this I will expect you to sit for 3 hours straight away without a break. So, that will be there in your target messages that you are getting. Then as we say, when we reach to week 5 or week 6, we will focus on one important thing, that is timed practice and focus on speed. So, for this we have one important thing which is definitely you do not have to miss, is that is for your time management and for making you to understand what you are presenting is correct or not. There are 4 mock schedules, and the dates for the mocks are there in your respective schedule file. We have separate schedule file for IFoA and IAI students. So, do go through your schedule. We will be conducting mocks as per the schedule in proper exam style manner. You will be invigilated as per 3 hour structure only. Now, my focus, as I said, is first thing to make you understand what examiner wants. Second thing, to make you focus on key findings in the question paper. And third thing, at the same time, once we have understood the quality of the answer, now the focus would be on maintaining time management skills. So, time management is always at the last. First, we have to understand how to present a paper, how to write a paper, then comes the time management part. So, this is what the structure of CP3 is designed. You will be getting videos, you have videos on the portal, you need to watch those videos as per the targets that we are sending to you. You need to complete your past papers. Some past papers I would ask you to look at the solution and complete, some past papers on the own, and then there are mocks to be basically that you have to attempt, and you will be getting detailed feedback on each and every mock. It is extremely important not to skip even a single mock. 4 mocks are there and you are not supposed not to skip even a single mock. Now, there are many questions that come in mind like there are many students who attempted before as well, and now they have started taking training. They ask me, ma'am, what I did wrong at that time of exam. So, if I give you a quick glimpse of exactly on So, the moment you get the question paper in front of you, the first thing that you are supposed to do is read it multiple times. Try to understand audience. Always remember this sequence, you will not lose an exam. Once you have understood the audience, try to understand main issues to focus upon. So, maybe in the first 30 minutes you can do this. A quick glimpse आ गया आपके पास. So, next 1 hour में आप क्या करोगे? Simple write. I am not asking you to type. आप लिखोगे. क्या लिखोगे? Everything. Complete letter or memo, whatever you are supposed to present. Headings, wiping out irrelevant information, presenting charts, everything you are doing in next 1 hour. Then next 1 hour you are typing, and when you are typing, obviously you are seeing from what you have written. So, you will, when you are doing it again and again, maybe while typing you will find out something irrelevant that you have written, maybe something incorrect that you have written. So, the focus is on presenting whatever is written. So, already it is like 2 hours 30 minutes over. So, we are roughly left with 45 minutes more. So, how do we have to divide this time? Next 20-25 minutes and final 20-25 minutes. So, this 20-25 minutes, go back again to the question paper and try to answer the questions. Which questions? Have I covered everything? Is my tone fine? रिफ्लेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट करोगे आप रिमेनिंग के 20-25 मिनट्स में? आर ऑल द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स कवर्ड? So what you are doing in these 20-25 minutes, you are going back to the question paper, seeing that you have covered everything, plus attempting reflective questions. Now in these final 20-25 minutes, grammar check, spell check, flow check, headings check, recommendations check. This is how your complete paper will look like. And if you are attempting like this, provided that you have understood what to write and what not to write, very small chance that you will not be able to clear, because structure has to be designed upfront. Things have to be decided upfront. Now the problem basically is you will feel कि okay, I can do this last 20-25 minutes, this last 20-25 minutes also we can do. What about this particular 2 hours which are extremely important with respect to writing? And this section only we will be focusing over next 7 to 8 weeks. This is what you are supposed to focus upon. So this is how your complete program is designed at Academic Junction, where my focus is on this particular area. Although we will understand spell checks, grammar checks, that everyone can do, that everyone knows that you have to do if you are attempting CP3. Everyone can go back again to the question paper and answer these questions. But to answer these questions, you need to understand the style of presentation, and this is what you have to learn. So no co-reading can teach you how to make the style of paper. No past papers directly copying and learning things can teach you. It is just with practice, it is just with correct guidance that you can analyze this thing. So this is what I wanted to present in today's session. So now it's over to you. Any doubts, anything, any general things which might concern you, which you want to address in the session, feel free to ask it in the chat section. Quickly guys, any particular thing where you want me to focus upon? Any particular paper which might struggle you and you want me to take it in the live, you can comment in the chat section. I can take it live whenever we are discussing papers. No questions? So okay, then if there are no questions, let's just wind up for the day. You will start getting your targets from now onwards. Just make sure that you are sticking to the targets. So that's it for the day from my side. Thank you.